And we are live. Look, caught with glass of orange in my mouth, practically. How we doing, guys? Hope we're doing well. Welcome along. Children's Matter.news here with Katie James Swallow. Firstly, I'd like to apologise, although I and Katie or anyone else to do with Children's Matter.news has got nothing to apologise for, but I will personally give out an apology because it was me that discussed continuity. Remember that, Katie, when we were talking about the raffle and everything, yeah?
Well, it wasn't down to you, it was down to YouTube, that reason.
Well, that's what I was just going to get round to. So people are clearly going to be thinking, nice one, Phil. You come on, talk about continuity. You'll be back on Sunday. Look, you roll in on Tuesday. You know what I mean? So it's a fair point from their point of view. And they will ultimately know either. So the reason why that happened is because, this channel is being heavily monitored, guys. Heavily monitored. And it's not just an opinion. There's been so many different things going on. So the morning after the stream last Sunday, I get a notification because I am an admin on this channel, and it was in regards to something that had been taken down from this channel by YouTube, and then there was a reprimand, a strike. I initially thought it was our stream they took down, but it turned out it was other material, thus giving you a strike on this channel. So what's the current status, Katie? Don't mind me asking.
Well, we got it back live again today, but they have taken two old videos, and they are pretty old videos. One of them was the Cocoa Morning, which we've not done for a year. And I can't remember what the other one was, but yeah, they took away two of the videos and give us a warning and a week strike. But yeah, we're back.
But you know what's funny though? Isn't it funny how as soon as you talk about continuity, you talk about coming back on the following week, something happens in the background that kind of makes that not happen. The usual technique to taking a video that is so old retrospectively in that manner doesn't make sense when they've got the money, the best that money can buy in terms of algorithms. You know what I mean? So I don't want to go too far, but I'm going to make that point. You know what go on in. So I firstly want to kind of apologise, but not apologise. That's the reason why we're here later than usual. So we're here. And you know what, guys? Let's talk to Katie. Katie, how was your weekend?
Yes, the weekend's not too bad. I've been fiddling about with my new bike. So it's been good.
Oh, please tell us more.
Well, the amazing supporter that we have on Children Matter that's been helping me through court found out that I passed my CBT that I've been working on, because obviously I've suffered with post-traumatic stress disorder for 9 years. So I've not been able to go near motorbikes for 9 years. But yeah, I passed my CBT, so he got me a motorbike to do up and repair and get myself on the road.
Excellente. That is uber generous. So
100%.
Got to be applauded for that. Well done, mate. Well done.
No, he is one of the best people I've come across, and he's genuinely dead kind and genuinely wants to help people out, which is the best sort of human being you can get.
Right, we just had sorry to butt in there, but we just had a notification off Ian. Something about logging in or something. I've no idea what. Where you think he's finding it a bit difficult getting on. Hopefully he will be in soon as. That's going to be Ian Okey. Unite Against Grooming Hull, I do believe. I might have that right, might have it wrong. I do apologise if I got it wrong. We're going to be talking to him and getting an update, see how developments have transpired up there, across there in Hull, and talk raffle. And hopefully Sharon Binks, the Binkser, will be coming in and having a little chat as well. She was here before, but she had to jump off to sort out priorities and all that. So hopefully she'll be back on soon. So yes, nice one, nice one. It's a bit different, this, Katie. Bit different, this, because normally I've been made proper slippers now. You know what I mean? I'm up at 5 o'clock. This is like my twilight hours. This now.
I know the feeling. It gets to about 6 o'clock these days, and I'm ready for my bed.
Probably age kicking in as well. So let's say hello to some guys here. We've got BB Sniper, we've got Soldier, Twitter Sly Fox, we've got Babs McKay, we've got Knowledge Trip. Anne, is that Anne? I am fraud and corruption. Yes. Who else we've got? We've got
BB Sniper on. Hello, baby.
What's that, Katie?
We've got BB Sniper on as well, and thank you for the congratulations, BB.
Congratulations on what? Do share.
The bike.
Oh, right. That's Mike.
No, the BB Sniper's put in congratulations. Mike pops up and it says Mike with the Minnie Mouse emoji.
Late to the party, me. Here we go. Oh, here's Ian. Here's Ian. Yes,
Hi.
mate. How you doing, Ian?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yes, mate. You're looking well.
Thank you very much. Yourself?
Getting on with it, mate.
You have to do, don't you? Yeah, you have to do.
Got to keep plodding, mate. The times are getting more and more difficult, but just try to shine a light and try and inform people. Just like you. Where are you at tonight, mate? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, here we are. Yeah, here we are in Ola, the new Trinity Club down South Coates Lane. I'm actually just come outside. We're about to go start the meeting. Tonight's meeting is really just an update for everybody so they can see what we're doing, what we're planning, where we want to go next, really.
Right. So since the last time we met, what developments? Has there been any developments, positive, negative?
Since the last time we met, after that, we did a flash demo up at the local police station to hand over their invites to tonight's meeting, which I've now received a letter back politely declining the invite. We've also sent quite a few invites out to local MPs, religious leaders, even the charity we want to support. We've sent them, and every single one of them's declined our invite.
What, has any of them expanded on as to why? Or
well, the police have said the investigation is closed. There's no real need for them to come to the meeting because everything they've had to say has been said. They don't see any benefit of coming to see it all again. The MPs, all they do is say, well, we spoke to the police and spoke to the CPS, and as far as we can see, there's not enough evidence for the case to go forward. Nothing at all back from any religious leaders. And the most upsetting thing about it all, and I believe you were a part of, or you've heard of Corner House. Well, Corner House is a charity, and the headquarters in Hull to do with child sexual exploitation, child abuse, deprived children's homes, things like that. So we were looking for a charity to donate because we are selling through merchandise and donations. We had quite a lot of money getting together, and it was never set out for that. So my idea was to give it to a worthy cause. So I contacted Corner House, and they've sent me a letter, which I was actually going to send you today. They've declined our kind offer because they work very close with Hull City Council and the police, and they believe that it could jeopardise them as a charity if they are involved with us.
Oh my God, that is like the ultimate kick in the teeth, that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What? How many survivors that you know of have worked with Corner House?
Well, the two of the girls that are here tonight, they both have been supported by Corner House. It was their suggestion that we use Corner House, actually. And, you know, two of them have worked very closely. One actually does some volunteer work with Corner House at the moment. It's just not spreading the words the wrong way, going to schools and giving advice and an awareness of child grooming and child sexual exploitation, etc. So that's why they wanted them to receive this money. And we're going to donate £500 tonight, and they've just declined it. And
oh mate, I am so gutted for all the effort and all the work that you've
yeah,
put in.
exactly.
You know,
I mean, I've even, they've said if we did it under anonymously, they could accept it, or they could, if we did a charity event for them but not through our name, they could accept the money then. And I'm thinking, well, hang on, no, I just, we're going down a different route now. So,
and what route? What are you going to donate it to somebody else then? Is that the idea, or are you going to utilize it in some other way?
Yeah, well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring it forward in the meeting tonight. I'm going to take a little leaf out of other places. What's happened with one of the girls that I've been working closely with? She's actually brought quite a lot of the evidence with her tonight, just to give people an idea of the evidence that has been gathered from herself, from the police, from the CPS, from everywhere. And my thoughts are along the lines of, we're going to try to raise enough money to get a solicitor involved.
Right.
And for that solicitor to go through the evidence, go through everything, see if there's been a miscarriage of justice. Has the police not investigated deeply enough? And obviously that's going to cost money, but at least we're putting the money to some good use. And if something can come out of it, it'll be like if the ball's rolling. We can get one case opened, we can get them all opened.
Yeah, that's all you need. Just a little bit of a gap in the door, and you could just keep it right open there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh man, I'm still kind of reeling for you, mate. And how we've spoke of plans that I've got later next month, probably the month after June. What I was going to do, throws that into a little bit of disorder now, because I, like you, mate, I was going to donate money. I was going to do a sponsored ride.
I know.
Which still can happen, although the money that I was going to hopefully raise through friends, family, and anyone external online, if they care to. Before, I was just before the stream setting up a GoFundMe for Corner House. Now, I speak to you 10 minutes later. I've not even completed it yet, mate. I don't even know whether I should, because I feel like you. I rung one of them the other day. Tilly, I think her name was. Might have got that name wrong. But a lovely lady, tried to explain to her what. And she kind of politely said, oh, well, not that I don't want your money, but could you just write an email with everything on it? And that, in a way, kind of rung alarm bells, because if someone wants donations, you don't pick and choose where you get your money from. And the reason why you're picking and choosing is because you want to stay on the right side of what you think is
exactly, yeah.
And that's the worst part about it, I can understand from their standpoint how they want to stay out of it all. But the very people they're working with, mate, are the very people that are saying, them people that you're actually scared of there, it's because of them why we've got no justice.
No, exactly. Phil, I'm going to have to go and start this meeting. I don't know if you want me to keep logged on. I can give it to somebody to let me see a bit, or log back in later if you want.
If we're still on, mate, we can log back in. Or if you want to come back on at another occasion and we can talk about the meeting, where it went, and we can go through it properly.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
We're something where I can donate money to what you guys are doing. So
that's brilliant. Thanks. Like I say, the aim of now is what we're going to be raising money for is to pay for a solicitor to get one of the girls' evidence re-looked at, see where we can go with that, and hopefully something can come of it. Even if we get a miscarriage of justice, improper investigation, anything from it can start the ball rolling, and that's what we were looking at.
Mate, I'm absolutely gutted for you, but I know you'll keep plodding on. Stay proactive and keep us posted, mate. And we'll have to arrange it. You can come on and give us an update on this meeting, yeah?
I will do, Phil. Thanks very much, Matt.
No problem. You take care.
Speak to you all soon. Thank you very much. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra. Ta-ra. Your thoughts, Kater?
It's the system for you. This is what the system's like, and it's getting harder and harder to get justice anywhere in the system anymore.
Let me just run through. I've obviously missed a lot of getting old. Yeah, I'm getting old. Yeah, I know. Thanks for that. I'll be blocking a few people if that's repeated as well, let me tell you. Jesus.
It's all right, I won't block them.
Right, let me go down to makes me sick. So I'm assuming that is in reference to the conversation about this legitimate, wholesomely legitimate charity that must be doing good work, not going to then start turning on them. The choice of where they want to get their money from on what we perceive could be on political grounds. That is one that leaves a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. That's like a homeless guy. You're about to put money in his cup. And because he sees you of a certain race or he sees you of a certain political ideology, now you're all right, mate. Yeah, I'll have yours. You don't get that. Money is money. Are they that fearful by accepting money from Ian, with all knowing the hard work that he's done, that they're going to get a phone call from what? Someone saying, you accept any more money from him and we'll take the charity status. I don't know. That is almost, they work on people who have been exploited, sexual exploitation, whilst they are being exploited themselves, or at least they're being governed. And I think a charity, when it goes out to working with, whether it's the lowest nomination, whatever it is in society, the most downtrodden, you shouldn't be dictated to in order to keep and maintain that charity status. So that is displeasing. But I'm sure a lot of reputable charities do that. The pitiful thing is, and I'm going to stop now. I look at that and I think, you know how many people would want to do some really good charitable work right now? And that's how you're going to play it. You're only going to make people not want to give money to you. And particularly me, I'm not prepared to do a 9-hour ride in order to fund them when they're going to turn around and say, if you put it in another name. Not having that, there's plenty of people that would have that money. So it's, yeah, sorry, Kate. Yeah.
Nah, it's right.
Man. Yeah, sickening that a charity is scared to take a donation. You know what I mean? And with money flying all over the place for Eastern Europe at the moment, you don't know where that money's going to. You don't know who it's coming from.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, they'd have no issues taking it from dodgy people from the opposite side of the spectrum.
No. It's just uncanny. If they wasn't
You got
actually...
your friend there?
Yeah, this is the little wee dog we've got, Storm. Say hello, Storm. Say hello. She's too busy wanting to eat me hand. There she is, look. Say hello.
Oh, she's beautiful.
No, she ain't coochie coo. Don't go with the coochie coo. She does nothing but cause destruction around this house.
Do you want to try having a rabbit?
Oh, honestly, we have to change 2 carpets already because this one, you know what I mean? Just having it. You leave a trainer down for more than 10 seconds, it's gone. And then she'll drop it and come back for the other one.
Yeah, my rabbit at the minute is destroying wallpapers, the sofa. She's now starting on my bike and my shoes.
Tell you, little rebels, don't know why. Look at it. Just wants to just know me. Right, so should we, man, That's proper throwing a spanner in the works, that, Kia.
Well, we could just rant on about the raffle instead then.
Well, we can. But at the same time, I'm thinking of the injustice of the justice. Because they're getting help from an organisation that seemingly don't want to go the whole hog to help them thoroughly. That might sound a bit unfair to say that, but when you're looking at a grassroots, guys, you know, community coming together and saying, you know what, let's try and help. Imagine everyone that's put into that now, how they feel when they're going to be told that in that meeting. Sorry, guys, but the charity that we were going to give it to don't want it because of what your political views.
That's messed up.
Fucked. Proper fucked. And it makes you not want to give. I'm glad he's got resilience and gone, you know what, we'll find somewhere for something else. Seriously.
It's the best way to do it, in fairness. Especially if they're putting up a fight about you donating in the first place. I mean, they can't be that hard up as a charity if they're refusing donations. Hey, we got Binks back.
Binks is back. Let's see what Binks has got to say. Binks.
Hello. Sorry about that, guys.
All right. You've been in the room, Sharon. Seriously. You would have been throwing plates, cups, tables, being tossed and everything. If after what Ian's just said to us, he's only turned
what's that?
Oh, you know, Corner House UK. You know how
I've heard of them.
Yeah, well, that's the organisation that's been working with a few of the survivors. Yeah, and he was going to donate. He's at a meeting tonight. He was going to donate 500 quid to him tonight. Do what you want with it.
Yeah, he said he was handing over some money.
Yeah. Well, they've only turned around and said, we can't accept it from your organisation. Because they fear it might upset who? The police. All the MPs have not bothered turning up because there's no more evidence they can give. The MPs have decided not to bother coming because what more? There's no evidence. And it's like, they're all sticking to the narrative. And now anyone right of centre is now, we don't want your money. So
do you know what, Phil?
Yeah.
What I found that because what they do, these charities, they start off with good intentions, I'm sure, and then they get a little bit of government money, get a little bit of a donation, and then they get restricted. And then they don't want to upset certain people because the donors, they depend on the donors. Well, we're all citizens of this country and we all deserve some protection. And if and even in Middlesbrough, with the amount of rapes and the amount of child prostitution, I went around all of the organisations that looked after girls victims, apparently looked after them, counselling and all of that, inviting them to support us in a demo against that sort of thing in Middlesbrough. They were actually part of the counter demo. They didn't want to know us because we weren't, there was never any evidence that we were racist. We never targeted anybody. However, they weren't going to entertain us. We were a citizen group that were out looking for trouble as far as they were concerned. And I think that's the view they take, because even with the councils, and they find out who's doing what, and they offer them a bit of money, or they give them contracts, or they give them a building, or they do something. And I was talking to a very, very good friend. You'll know him probably. He's a strong campaigner, and he's been involved with working with children's safety, and he's found out he's cancer everywhere, and fobbed off all the time, you know. And now, anyway, I don't want to give too much away because he hasn't. But anyway, he believes that the land he was donated for what he was doing with the children is the cause of that, because all of the toxins that they'd been dumping and then dredged and dried out, there was a dust storm when he was working down there, and there was an investigation into it, and they found all this toxic waste. So that's obviously got trapped in the lung, and it's been there, and nobody's been able to detect where this cough's been coming from for all these years. And now, so yeah, his own doctor's up in arms about it all, because he they fobbed him off. My daughter's just got to the hospital there with my grandson because he's not eaten for 5 days or kept anything down. They were too busy, even though she'd been told to go there straight away. They were too busy to see him, and then they did his obs. He said his temperature and his heart was okay, but just to take him home, really. She could go somewhere else. These are the authorities and the organisations that we're supposed to look up to or to reach out to in some way, and we can't rely on them at all, because they're just getting money for what? To give themselves a purpose, because who are they really helping if they're not taking money like that for victims from an organisation that actually being set up because nobody else was helping the victims, nobody else was trying to get justice for the girls. But Ian, which is why Ian started in the first place, because he was like, whoa, Sky News has put it on about my own town, I didn't even know anything about it, and yet he's got off his ass to do something about it, and they're treating him like that. I'm glad I wasn't on.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm fuming. I'm fuming for Ian. I'm fuming for everyone that we met in Hull, because it clearly meant something to them. It's clearly something is going on. I'm fuming for the survivors that we met. You know, some of them actually work with Corner House. How are they going to feel? That's some kind of mixed message. So are they going to be encouraged now to have nothing to do with the likes of Ian?
But what the likes of Ian is a hard-working guy who has got off his backside to help some girls that he's no connection to whatsoever, apart from the fact that they live in his town, and he feels that nobody else is doing, or at least not enough's being done. The police aren't taking it seriously.
It's clear that you just said all the religious leaders have declined, the MPs have declined, and they're all doing it on the basis of one, there's no more evidence they can give. There's nothing more they can say on the matter. That was the religious. And with the political side, there's no new evidence. So they're sitting behind the police line on that. And that's so indicative of what we've seen when you're talking about child abuse, innit? No one wants to go that bit further because they're either scared of the council, they're either scared of this, they're scared of that. So everyone...
It's big business, though, isn't it? Big business, that's what it is.
It is. It is.
Do you know, I've been watching some interesting videos recently, and putting a kind of my summary on what I've understood from it is that the likes of Jimmy Savile, who claims to have the first twin deck record player in the dance halls back in the early 50s, I think it was, or 1947. I think 1947, the Fabian Society set up observations on the working class, and he was already involved with the Glasgow and the London gangs, which was like the craze and everything else. So the trafficking children was just the next step from, well, probably whatever he was dealing in, you know. But this is deep rooted. I mean, all of these social experiments that they've been doing, the Tavistock Centre. I followed John Bowlby's work about attachment, and I thought it was fascinating, and it gave me a lot of insight into behaviour and issues that we have from that attachment. And then it's like, how did he find all that information out? How was he the leading person on attachment? Is because they put the children through it to see what would happen. And so you're tearing children away from the parents. And they discovered from that, when they're looking at controlling the population, that the sexual abuse, which obviously they had to observe the effects of that on the children, which is where the child trafficking and everything used it. I mean, this goes back years. And so they found that sexual abuse in the children is the best form of destruction of the mind, especially before the age of 6. So this theory that we have about the children that are badly abused get left with the families, the children that aren't yet, or, you know, the crystal ball method, they're taken out because it's unlikely that they will be, because, you know, not there's a majority of parents that don't abuse the children, not a majority that do. And yet, you know, and so when you're looking back in history and looking at all these involvements and organizations and politicians involved and police involved, I've seen a list of Freemasons in the police today in the courts. Somebody's been digging out, and it's big business. And people like us, people like Ian, aren't allowed to get anywhere off the ground with anything because we get to the truth. And they'll have to do something about that, which they don't want to do. They can cover it up with these organisations and these charities that they control somewhere along the line. I found that early on with the campaign in some of the groups. They rely on certain donors, and so they work within these lines because they don't want to upset the donors.
Well, someone
Why?
sort of commented there before. Okay, so I think it was that one. There's that as well. You know, I'm not suggesting that these guys are creaming it. I don't know what the wages are. I don't know who's CEO. I don't know anything about it, but that is a legitimate point. As organisations grow, they expand. Before you know it, someone has to be employed in some way. So then by doing that, you're extracting from the overall money going to somebody. And as much as people love these massive organisations that logistically can mobilise all over the world, that is an expenditure as well. And that must, so, you know, you look at really in the pound, how much of that pound actually goes to the cause that you're putting it there for. And I'm not suggesting anything. I don't want to come out kicking against these guys because they're doing brilliant work. I am disappointed that the chicken, I am disappointed that they're not prepared to punch out the bag and go, you know what? We'll actually risk us losing this charity and take that money from these people because one, we take money from anyone. And two, it's very ironic that the very thing that you're scared of there that they're going to discover, the consequences of you not doing anything means that we're actually here in the first place. So,
yes.
Do you know what I would do if I was Ian? I would go and I would, all the girls that he's involved with, all the girls that he has contact with, I would go and I would get vouchers for clothing, for food. I would get a mixture of vouchers and give each of them a selection of vouchers so that they could take care of themselves with something.
Well, what he's actually thinking of there, whether he follows it through or not, he's going to discuss it in the meeting, I think. I guess it's going to be democracy here, you know what I mean? But he was talking about putting it towards legal costs, maybe hiring a solicitor to pick at some of the evidence and see if he reckons if he can open just one case or if he can question critiquing up one case, it might, you know, but you know what legal costs are like. So, yeah, I just told him to get back to me, really, you know what I mean? I'm riding to Hull now. I've got a campsite booked and everything, Sharon. You know
there's still, as long as that money's situated, something will come along that's where it's needed, and the survivors will benefit from it. I'm sure of that. You know, there's nothing underhand about any of it. So keep it in a pot until, you know, I don't know, keep a collection till you can get a safe house or you can get whatever you need for them. Do you know what I mean? There's always some need, isn't there? And like I say, even if it's immediate and you give them vouchers, but the legal cost is a good one because they have no defence. You know what I mean? It's just finding the right legal rep because you're part of that system, aren't they? I mean, I don't think the good ones make it very far unless they play the game.
Well, it all comes to the same ballpark, doesn't it? You know what I mean? That it's going to take someone with proper kahunas to say, I don't mind.
I would give Ian Gould a any day of the week, because he did his best for me, and went against the system. So yeah, there are solicitors out there. You just have to find them, don't you?
Certainly.
And he's in Bootle anyway, so it's not that far.
Right.
But
well, let's hope. I mean, like you say, something's going to proactive and positive going to come from it. And he'll let us know, once they've decided what the best thing to do with that cash. And just as long as he keeps his good work and it doesn't dishearten him too much, you know what I mean? It's what it is, isn't it?
Can I tell you something that's an update on Sunderland? Mr. Miller, head of the Labour.
All right.
Do you know Keith gave his seat up for family reasons. He's dealing with family business. And so his seat went up, Labour got it. Keir Starmer only comes to the area to flaunt himself around because Labour won the seat back, right? It's all fixed anyway. I don't trust none of them. Anyway, Miller's there. Miller, who was on the BBC Two Newsnight saying that justice for women and children were rotten, basically. Who prior to that, which I didn't know about at the time, which I wish I had, he was told he was on the papers for anti-Muslim slurs on Facebook, but I only saw the article the other day. It was from 2016, I think it was. Anyway, he's taken the press to whatever area it is. Len Lowther, who some Labour councillor had called a pedo, and he took to court and won, but didn't get an apology. So he got this, these vans you get with the boards on, so you can put a big poster on the side.
Yeah.
Well, when he won his case against this guy about calling him a pedo, he put it all over the van. The police tried to get him to move it, and he wouldn't because he wasn't parked illegally. He just kept parking it up where you could see it. And they said it was upsetting people because of the language on it, right? But it was the language the guy had used against Len. So he'd used his own words back to him. He says, well, this is all in cut. Anyway, so he's now got on his side of his board about Miller being responsible for letting the kids down at Kincora, or something to do with Kincora. I think it was Kincora. No, not Kincora. It was. I'm going to get the name. I've got the name mixed up now. Wait a minute. It must have been the one in Sunderland. Brian's going to correct me if Brian catches hold of this. Brian from up in Sunderland.
Yes.
Campaigner. It's all over this board about Miller being responsible for all of this, right? So he's took the press around. He got the doors slammed in his face at a few of the houses that he went to, and then he walked around the corner to see Len's big thing with his face all over it, with all his misdemeanors on it.
Getting old. There's a bunch of hypocrites out there. It's good that people, with ingenuity, get them back, How can you do him? If you're going to do him, then you've got to do him for, what is it, malicious communications or hate crime or something? I mean, what? The language. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I love
it's
it.
Funny.
When it suits them. That is a brilliant story. Brilliant. Katie, anything you want to say before we get into the Raphael?
Not really, to be honest. It's more listening because I'm on the back foot when it comes to this particular topic and conversation. So it's more of a learning thing for me. But it does seem like they're having the same issues as what a lot of us have had for the last few years. I'm sure they'll pivot and find a way around it, though. We always do.
Where there's a will, there's a way. As long as the intention's there and it's done, for the right reasons in the right way.
Yeah.
Then think about things and I guess take your time at this point now, rather than rush and just throw that money at something else straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, something good will come from it, certainly. So, right then, Katie, raffle. Do you want to explain to the peoples that are on here? Yes, Brett. About the raffle and the prizes and what they can do to obtain a ticket.
Yes, I can do. So we actually made a poster last time we were on with just a list of the prizes that are up for grabs. So I'm just going to try and find that and plonk that up on screen. Oh, nope. That's added. I don't want to add another overlay. I want to put an overlay up. So yeah, so these are the. Oh, I need to take a ticker off again. Sorry guys. Right, so these are the raffle prizes that we've currently got up. The special edition ones will either be special edition or personalised. So that will be up to the winner, depending on obviously which one it is that they win. But we're doing the raffle tickets for £1.50, or you can buy them in bulk. That's not a problem. So if you want to join into the raffle, I'll put the ticker back up. Just remember that it is going to cover the jigsaw one. Yeah, so if you want to join in on the raffle and you want to be involved in it and be up for a chance of winning one of the amazing prizes that we've got up, just email us at childrenmatter.news@gmail.com and we'll be able to send you as much information as you need. And obviously, we'll try and work around you for best payment method for the raffle prizes. But we have already had quite a few go. So you will have to be quick. I am hoping to pull it by the 8th, but we may have to push it back a week just because obviously YouTube pretty much took a week off us of promotion. But I will talk to you guys about that after the stream on WhatsApp.
Yeah, you're damn right they did. They kind of threw a proper spanner in the works. And like we were saying initially, I think that was the purpose of it, to dislodge the channel, particularly the continuity of the channel, because they knew we were going to be coming on 3 weeks in succession. So it was very convenient that. But yes, good personal raffle prizes. So how are they going then in terms of numbers?
Well, the next available, I've got the paper in front of me with everything on it. The next available number that we've got is, bear with me, it is 121. And we've got a random one before that, but 121's the next tickets to go. So if anyone's interested and they want to get in for a chance to win, then the sooner the better, really. I'm debating whether we should split the raffle up into 2 parts. So pull one part 1 week and the other part the following week. But at the moment, it's all being pulled at the same time and day.
Right. What for fear that it might be too long, you need to do it all in one?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I've been thinking about it, but I'm going to have a chat with you two about it afterwards.
Yeah, we could sort that out. What date we're talking?
Do the 8th or the 15th or both, if we're going to split it.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it because I go on a stag do shortly after that closing date. So, depending on what date and blah, 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 I'm sure we can work something out. That's not a problem. You know what I mean?
The good old stag do, eh?
No, can't wait. Can't wait. No idea. We're doing a bit of clay pitching shooting. We're doing a bit of like off-road kind of quad biking.
Brilliant.
And no idea what comes in between. And even if I did know, it's what happens where we're going is going to stay where we're going, and it's going to be one of them.
Well, that's it. That's the rules. No, it sounds good one, that. Active weekend.
Yeah, as long as I don't come home with a frigging animal lay next to me in the bed, you know what I mean? Like looking at me like a fox. And how the hell did that happen? I'm sure it'll be all right. Pretty chilled out, guys. So it's not going to be as manic. We're wondering what to dress him in, or whether he'll take well to being dressed, full stop. But something's got to give, hasn't it? You know what I mean? Gone to a lot of time and trouble for this. Got to make him look daft somewhere along the line.
Well, yeah, it's the whole purpose of him, isn't it?
Well, of course. So that's work in progress. We'll have to see about that.
Oh, before I forget, we had a suggestion, didn't we, for some of these raffle tickets?
Right.
The quiz. We had a couple of tickets donated, and the person who donated them, obviously our mystery benefactor, it's not even a mystery, it's Mike, suggested doing a Children Matter quiz. And the winners will get some of these raffle tickets, which is donated.
Could you set the questions up?
we've got to figure out how we're going to do it and
Well,
what
that's
questions
the
we're going to
thing
go
with
for.
online. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? And you know, people are going to be Googling the life out of anything you say. They'll have the answer before you finish the question. So I'm
Well,
just wondering how
so
it
if we did it Children Matter topic related and we did it personal to Children Matter, they wouldn't be able to Google it. They'd have to know from their own knowledge.
That's one possibility, isn't it?
If we can work it out, then we might be able to do it, but it might be a way of people getting a couple of free tickets for a bit of interaction with the channel.
Yeah, like a fun-based thing, innit? Fun facts.
Yeah. We'll have to have a sit down and see what questions we can come up with and how many questions we're going to need to do, and just do like a first come, first serve thing with the answers.
Yeah, get them on live and do the countdown like they do on the radio in the morning. They have so many questions, they've got so long to answer, and the one who gets the most right wins the prize.
I could do it like a call-in, because we can put the channels. I'm going to use you as an example, Phil. We can set the layout like this, so only one person comes up on the screen and the rest can be behind.
There you go, yeah.
So what you're saying, bring someone in on the channel, like right, guys, you know, I'm going to ask you this question, you get it right, you could win your chance of a Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but however many people you're going to have on competing, you say the first however many people or if the 10th, 11th and 12th person to contact you get, so that it's, or the first, second, third, whatever, they get to come on, you send the link to them. Well, first come, first served is usually fairer.
Yeah, well, yeah, that sounds all right. And then you could speak to, we'd have to get every platform we could open on it, so it'd give everyone that we're advertising this an even chance of them being involved in it as well. And then we could say, right, in fact, I don't know, it's like you say, you don't want to do it as soon as you come on, because then literally the first person's jumping on, and then you kind of want to build it up a little bit, let some time progress, and then say, I don't know, at a certain time within it or something. So, or do you just randomly pick?
The other option we've got as well is putting a screen up, so obviously we can just talk in the background like this.
Do that. Yeah.
Make a special one for the quiz and that, put it up, and then no one has to worry about coming on and showing the mush if they don't want to.
That's a fair point, because a lot of people probably might shy away on that premise as well. So yeah, that sounds a good theory. So what do you want to do? Do you want to do that next week? Problem is, I ain't got time to drum up the questions. Has anyone got a bit of extra time on their hands to kind of whiz up a few fun fact questions?
If I can get a rough estimate of how many questions to do, I could probably draw something up. I can even give it to some of the other team to, as a little project for them to try and put some questions to as well. Yeah,
because it has to be not too hard and not too easy, isn't it, really? Because
stuff that has been public and on the channel that's easily accessible to everyone. My favourite colour, probably not a good idea to go for.
What you like? No, I think that generally is a good idea. I like it. Very much like it. And
I'm going to see how many tickets we've got for sale as well. I'm sure we've got like 40 or something like that.
Doing all right, Sharon? I mean, this is, I've got to say as well, a big thank you not only to probably the major benefactor in this raffle, but everyone who's donated, everyone who's bought a raffle ticket, anyone who supports this channel, liking, sharing, coming on, listening to the people, whether it be Sharon, Katie, or I. You know what I mean? It's really nice and humbling knowing that it's a nice little community here that's just trying to create something positive and move forward in it. You know what I mean? Still have to experience the knocks, like you said, Sharon. Still getting him. Even tonight is a testament to that. You can get the nuts when you should be buzzing. That should have been a really buzzing night for him. Yeah, look at that. Done all right there. Raised that for you, but it wasn't. So, yeah. This is indicative of the guys here, strippers. Brett, No, mate. No, I'm not that way inclined, mate. Thank you very much.
Drippers.
That came up
No.
when you were talking about the stag night.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know that wasn't a random question. It wasn't, I knew exactly what he meant, and no, it won't be any of that going on, mate. And even if it was, I couldn't tell you, could I? You know what I mean? Can neither confirm or deny. Is that the official statement there, Sharon?
I've got to say though, right? If I did do what do you call it? If I did do that question of what's my favourite colour, I think BB would have lost. I mean, everyone would have lost this question, to be fair, because it's not purple.
There you go. That's the red herring.
So everyone thinks my favourite colour is purple because my hair's purple. But that's a memorial.
That was one question that we can't do now because everyone knows. Or you know
everyone knows the wrong question, the wrong answer, because it's not purple.
Be careful what you say now because there's good material that could be utilising it. Because I'd have said purple. Because everything I see, you know what I mean? You've always got purple hair, purple this, purple that. So
well, it's because the purple's a memorial for my grandma. That's the only reason I've got it. I mean, my favourite colour isn't actually purple. It never has been. I do like it though. I do like it, but it's not my favourite. I'm more of a green lover and a turquoise lover myself.
I'm not saying anything at this point because these could be valuable questions that could be. You've got to be careful now. I ain't saying shit. Nothing. I'm not even confirming the name.
Well, I'm going to be looking for volunteers very soon to try out my new parenting program that I've created. I was talking to you about it earlier. I've been hiding away in my shed, typing away, doing my research, putting things together.
Let's expand on it a little bit. What is it you're actually doing? A parenting program for the purpose of anyone to be able to pick that program, or is it to teach a class with it?
It's focused more on the parents of it's focused on the parents of 0 to 7-year-olds. However, I'm not rigid on that. It's I think it would be useful for any parent really, or anybody thinking about becoming a parent. Might put them off. But there's 8 weeks, and I've used the title of it as the acronym for each week. So it's I Empower, which is I is I. You know the I in I is I, and it's very much focused on self-esteem, positivity, understanding how the brain works in the child, understanding the emotional effect, the hormones, seeking systems in the brain, why that causes, why the behaviors, the connection with the behaviors on that. And it starts off really with the biggest section on love, how important that is. So yeah, it's so the first week is the introduction, but there's lots of information in there as well and stuff. So the second week is empathy, milestones, parent power, opportunities, working together, encouragement, and then reflection are the sessions. I don't really know how long each session is going to take because obviously you've got to put in time for discussions and stuff. So yeah, I've got to test drive it on somebody yet. My daughter's just finishing reading it all. She's loved it. She's actually went out and bought little sticky stars and reward charts and things after reading the latest session.
Would it be worth setting up an email for you, Sharon, for anyone who's interested in?
Well, they can contact Children Matter anyway, but I haven't got. I've literally just put the final touches to it today. I'm going to go get it printed off, and then I've got to test drive it on a few people and see how it goes. But like I say, my daughter's given me her big thumbs up on it. She's loved it. So, but the reason that I did it was because I was sitting there thinking, all the time I was delivering parenting and things. On a one-to-one basis a lot of the time. Where are my skills? What these last 30 years, am I just going to forget it, or am I going to put it to good use? And so I can't get a job, obviously, for circumstances, whatever, but they can't stop me delivering it to the people that want it. As long as I can get a free venue and people want to come along, hopefully through recommendation, I'll get other people coming along. But as far as for now, I'm just going to try and get a free venue. My daughter knows a few people because she just she works with the local kind of group that does the youth group and things like that. She works at the youth group. So there's the people that she knows through the school as well. So yeah, I'm gonna look for a venue next to and then put it out. I'm gonna get some leaflets done and hand them out to certain, probably around my daughter's children's school first. Get my local parents from my area. I'm going to try the football club, see if they'll let me use their room. But yeah, I've got some ideas. Hopefully, so it won't be too long before I can get it off the ground.
No, I really respect what you're doing there. There's no better than starting with the individual, is there, really? We can moan about the establishment and try and upheaval the establishment, rechange it, but the individual self-empowerment, self-development, them two key points, that person can go on and spread that, but at least themselves improve their life in so many different ways and every connection they have around it. Well done, you.
You can only give out what you've got inside, Phil. And if these parents haven't got enough love for themselves, the children are missing out.
Yeah.
And they've got to love themselves first in order to give everything that the child needs. If they're not giving it to themselves, so there's a lot in there about taking care of themselves, a lot in there about 2-minute meditations and things like that, breathing properly, just little things that they can do just to get them through a stressful day. Because these parents, these children at those ages have been through hell these 2.5 years of what they've had to put up with. People walking around with their faces covered. I mean, that's horrifying for a little child that relies on the expressions of people to know if they're safe or not. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of damage being done. And I think that we can only change that by changing what's inside ourselves. And the more skills you give people or tools or things that they can use, that they don't have to go looking for, or it's a quick, like, here's a few tips, get you on your way, really. That's all it is. But it's really useful to have those tips. And it's years of me embedding that into me, and I look at my kids now, and all you can hope for is that your kids are a little bit better than you. And I'm really proud of my girls, so I'm like, pat myself on the back, because I've been through, well, they've had to put up with a lot with what I've been through as well, so a credit to them really for being who they are today. So yeah, it's great, and I just think that's the only way. That's what can I give to my community, and that was what I come up with.
You're doing well, though, Sharon, because it's what's needed. I do think that if anyone's interested in obviously giving Sharon some feedback and wanting to try it out for themselves, that, you know, email. The email address is going across the bottom, and I'm sure we can sort it out. And I'm sure Sharon would appreciate, obviously, the feedback from everyone as well.
Certainly.
I mean, I don't know where it'll go from here. I'll get the first group done. First session started out, and then I might put it on a video, or I don't know. We'll just have to see. I might just make it available to everybody, just to put a video or. I
mean, we've got the website as well at your disposal. We can always put something on the website if that's what you wanted to do when you're done with it.
Yeah, I'll see. I'm just taking it step by step, really. But I just finished it today, so I'm yeah. I'm going to get it printed out and move on to the next step.
No, I think that is brilliant. That is proactive. It's progression. You know what I mean? You think we've already spoke about what started your journey and what got you going and what the reason why you lost your job and all the stuff with the police down here and everything. You think you come through all that to come with that piece of paper that can not have anything to do with any narratives, anything political, but literally going straight to the source, the person, in order to uplift them, make them a better individual. And I think the timing of that is probably perfect as well, Sharon. We've been battered, been mentally battered, so many people, and so many people now will be wandering round thinking they're all right, but accepting that they're not quite 100%, you could say. But also at the same time, maybe wondering, I don't know whether I can fully acknowledge that I'm suffering from A, B, or C, or I'm struggling with certain tools of A, B, and C. But, you know what I mean? Someone to actually outlay that to me might make me realise where I could actually improve things for myself as an individual. We all need that.
The more you can be in the moment, the more joy you can get from being in that moment. In that, you're taking the joy out of every. It's a privilege, as obviously Katie can verify. It's a privilege to be able to spend time with your children, and people take it for granted. And I think, if anything, this channel represents that you shouldn't take that for granted at all. And if people are taking it for granted or stressed about things, and so they're not dealing with it, then let us help you, because your children deserve for you to be joyful around them, and they deserve to feel that they give you that joy.
Yes, because they'll certainly be feeling the energy. So if you've got family members that are struggling, they're going to feed off that energy that's there. So like you say, it's not a question of saying whether you should feel bad or guilty for being in that position. We're all literally not that far away from bankruptcy and losing everything. I'll tell you a little story, just because you mentioned about take things for granted. Talk about children. I've no idea of the circumstances, but I bumped into a homeless chap in Manchester on my way home from work. I was just filming a little like makeshift homeless camp that's situated next to a busy Mancunian Way. You know how busy that is, Katie. You know what I mean? Just wedged in between a fence and a building. So it's literally 2 feet away from a dual carriageway. It's fucking ridiculous, right? As I'm kind of filming, talking about it, this is crap. This lad turns up and he starts rummaging through the stuff that's there. It's all discarded. And I start talking to him. The guy is called Matthew, 26 years of age, homeless, comes from Northwich, which is probably about half an hour away from Manchester, more of a leafy, affluent area, if I'm going to be honest with you. But 26 years of age, homeless, comes to the bright lights of Manchester. So that alone makes you think, one, that's someone's son, you know, two, the age of him, you know, three, like you said about taking things for granted, you know, we all could be there. Everyone's got a story, you know, when it comes to being homeless or just being, you know, in some way just in that situation. He carried on talking about he must have done some kind of prison time. I don't know how long for or the severity of the crime. But he did say he gained a qualification in hairdressing. And whether it must be just a basic, I don't know, I guess, I don't know. It could be Nicky Clark for all I know. But he's basically in the situation he's in. And you know what he said? It really got me, really punched me in the neck. You know what, a neck punch? Not that I've ever done one, but the Adam's apples, like boom. He just said that, you know, all I need really is a mirror, a chair, a pair of cordless cutters. He goes, I could put my chair in a location. I could get the homeless there. If they could donate anything to the pot, they can. He just wants to make the point that he's prepared to do their hair and not have to pay any extortionate prices of what the hairdressers are. Because I'm talking to mates that are paying 20 quid just to get their hair done. And I'm like, they do it out of choice because they want to. I cut my own hair. Hey up. Oh, There you go. Thank you very much, Katie. Yeah. So when you talk about take it for granted, you know, you see this, and we all take things for granted. So I know how you say about loving people. How is it you put it? Cherish each moment, as in reference to your family. We've got to start loving each other, haven't we? Because when people duly walk past people who are impoverished, or they've got nothing, or they visibly might be mentally ill, that's another thing, you know, just wandering around the city saying some things and people are kind of scared. We've got to remember they're one of us, you know. And it's just disheartening when you see a young lad rummaging through all the gear that was just strewn along the side there. And you know the reason why he was there? Soft furnishings, Sharon.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get on with the guys that live there, apparently. He come across as intelligent. He's not off his face. He wasn't rambling. He was a very articulate young lad. And he told another story. Sorry, I'm probably going on too far about this.
No, you're all right.
Really poignant.
Interesting.
Well, it is, isn't it? And it kind of re-jolted me onto something else, as in wanting to follow more work at the homeless in Manchester. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was mentioning about, you know, how do you feel as a homeless that now you can see most of the public, if anything, they're going to virtue signal over Eastern Europe, but yet come out of their house and walk past you in the street and just kind of, you know, disregard you. How does that make you feel? And I said to him, listen, dude, I'm not saying that coming from some kind of crazy nationalist standpoint. I'm saying it just because, you know, I'm just normal geezer. I can see it. It's just not right. Charity begins at home and all that kind of stuff. But he goes, mate, not only do I agree with you, I was at the housing office previous occasion, I guess. And I got a ticket and waited in the queue respectfully. He said, a Romanian family coming. Woman with a pram and kids, or kid, I think it was at least kids, got ushered straight to the front of the queue. He said before he'd actually been seen, they got a house, they got an Uber taxi phoned to them, and they got ushered back out of there. And he was still stood in the queue while all this was going on. So there's so many different issues in with that you think this is an uber-tolerant society that is now fucking up its own people, and it doesn't care. And if you actually say, well, look at that guy there, you're actually going to use the race card on people in order to just facilitate this. Meanwhile, imagine I go try and raise money for this homeless organisation, and they turn around to me and go, oh, you were the one that we called a Nazi. I don't know whether we want your money, mate. You know, so it's fucked up, but it was very poignant with that lad. I've tried to catch up with him since, because I really want to try and get them 3 items for him: mirror, a chair, and a cordless pair of cutters. It's nothing in the groundscape of it. I'm not just going to go and get it and give it to him. I want to be able to locate him, have a proper chat with him, see why he got where he's got, then talk about this idea and how we could implement it. If it all sounds positive and cool and there's a way it could work, I'd quite happily sort that out. And I would like to see about following him a little bit, just to see how he gets on every time he meets, you know, someone in regards to housing, or someone in regard, you know, just to follow his progress and see if anything changes. But one last thing I will say, you know how hard it is when you say to someone, Sharon, how do I find you, mate? And he then tells you, you know, the Premier Inn down the road, you know, the bushes across the road from it, you'll find a hole. That's where I'll be. That's what he said to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking hell. So much going on, you know, so much. So, yeah, that's...
Well, you think about how many kids are turfed out in the care system once they reach a certain age and they're not making money for them anymore. Where do they all go? because they
It's a
don't get on
load.
the housing list either, do they? They end up petty crime in prison, then they've got no chance. They end up like that guy there who's got some skills but's not got the opportunity to put them to use, even if
Yeah,
he wants to do it for the good of the others. But
yeah, yeah.
there's no care at all for the regular guy on the street by any of the authorities. They just get paid, go home, and put the feet up. You know what I mean? Because they're all getting to pay a mortgage, aren't they? They're all getting to the 25 grand plus jobs with company cars and fuel allowances and, you know, whatever else benefits they get while everybody else is struggling. When they're getting paid to actually care about these people, they only care about getting paid to fill a role that's supposed to look after people but do jack shit, really, because I've worked in that environment. And when you've got people who are supposed to be family support workers not answering the phone to families because they've got too much paperwork already, because the authorities keep giving them more and more paperwork they haven't got time to do, so then they haven't got time for the families because that generates more paperwork, and it's just corporate spying. My answer to that was, well, don't do all the paperwork, just write the bare minimum. It's none of their business about these families unless there's a serious problem. Why are you writing everything down? It shouldn't take you that long. Do you know what I mean? But that's corporate spying. That's all they paid for.
Yeah, and they stick to their own independent box, you know, and you know, it's just wrong, isn't it, when you can see on multiple levels everything we've covered over the years, the cracks that people have fallen under, and once you fall into that crack, the reason why they end up talking to people like you, Kater, is because no one's listening to them. There could actually be nothing wrong with that, you know. Aesthetically, absolutely fine. The way they talk is absolutely fine. There's no visible, there's nothing audible. But there's just something tangible why they can't cut through. And it's just hard to understand in a world where we seem to want to help everybody, and we're all kind of forced to think in helping somebody, or woe betide if you're not thinking like the group think. But something very simple, listening to a survivor, understanding where that source trauma come from, and actively, diligently getting it, not just because it's some guy who's looking at inappropriate photos and does an act who's in a block of flats somewhere, but even if he's in the highest halls of power, he should be doing exactly the same thing. So it's just the consequential shizzle, Sharon, that is it's hard. It's hard to chew and taste when you're talking, you're looking in the eyes of people, and you'll know more than me doing the job you're doing, and particularly now with what you're rolling out as well, you're going to see that every day, every person you talk to, you know what I mean? And it's like, why aren't they there for them? Why aren't they trying to rebuild? They probably are, but maybe it's too big a deal. I don't know. But then they seem to want to spend money and celebrate all types of other bullshit that's irrelevant.
Well,
God.
Phil, I don't know about you, but I'm glad I'm 52, well, nearly 52, because I would hate to think I didn't have that knowledge before the 80s. Do you know, like the state, the education systems, the decline of the education system's been, it was probably before my time anyway, but particularly from the end of the 80s, well, we saw it in the mid 80s, didn't we, through pop music culture and all of that, and it's just been an assault on our kids ever since, really. When they started with the academies, it was just like, oh, another nail in the coffin for free thinking, really. And they are just want to churn out people that will never raise up against them in enough numbers to do any damage, because they're dealing with a population. They don't like the population because I far outnumber them. But if they can subdue enough of us, the few of us that are awake haven't got the strength or the might or the numbers to actually take them down, so they don't have to worry. So if they subdue the majority, they can really take care of the minority like us, because they just shut us down. YouTube, I've not been on doing videos for months now, most of this year, and now in the last couple of weeks, 4 of my videos removed. So that shows me that somebody's looking for me to be, and why? Because I've not been on here. So it's like, why now? In the last couple of weeks, when I've not, I've been keeping myself to myself, not been saying anything, have I really? But
I mean, if you look at the timing, I just finished court with my worst abuser. You two kept the channel going for the entire time I've been in court for a year, and all of a sudden, as soon as court's over, the channel's being attacked. I wonder. I think we can guess which dickhead's got something to do with this.
Yeah, they're definitely. But I mean, there was a comment earlier I saw about Musk has bought Twitter for 44 billion. Now, how much would of that money would it take to feed all the homeless in the world?
Yeah, I know.
And he can spend that on a because he started PayPal. He can afford now and got Tesla and he can afford to pay that for a social network. It's obscene, isn't it, really?
It's all
crazy. And we're all scrambling about down here trying to help each other out, and they're sitting on piles of money like that they can just throw about like it's nothing.
If I ever had the money, right, to actually end a lot of people's suffering, I would do. I don't know if it's just me. I mean, I feel like everyone on this channel would pretty much do the exact same thing as well.
You just help. You help your fellow man. It does something for you, and it does something for people who get to witness what you're doing. It's not a glorification thing. It's infectious. It's a way of being. So if I become a taker in society, then people around me are going to see that, and they may act upon that. And particularly the people around me are not going to trust me. If I'm a giver and want to help people, that would maybe become infectious, and it might make them re-question what they're all about in a way, like a conscious slap. And it might make them reenact or just change up their ways a little bit and just give a little bit. It's about inspiring people into doing the right thing. And like you say, you can see it. You can see the effects of people who have been told for years, don't say anything. Don't get involved. Don't do this. Don't do that. If you see that on the street, don't do that. No one can say anything now. So when you're in a situation where more and more things are happening, but you can say less and less about it, that only gives you a window to what society is actually like in the most congested parts of this country. It's fucking lawless. Down to dropping rubbish, down to disrespecting people because of their age, the colour, their religion, whatever, because of, like you say, incremental changes, respecting elders. That's a simple one that seems to have gone right out the window. And I'm not suggesting that all people on here who've got kids, that I teach my kids they better respect elders. But do you know how many times I'm confronted with little kids that do not respect any elder other than their mother and father? And I find that highly unlikely, because the way they address a stranger, they can't have respect for their mother and father, or at least the mother and father can't have much respect for themselves, because they wouldn't allow that to happen. You know what I mean? And it's a norm now. So you can't even say that. There's been guys that have gone out remonstrating with 3 or 4 kids. He's ended up on the floor, his head stamped on. It's like, you can't say nothing. And it's that society where, like, I think it was Double O that said it, we're bricks in the wall, but we've got to look after each other.
That wasn't Double O, that was Brian.
Was it Brian? Sorry.
Yeah.
right. It's right. You got to do it in these ways, however you can do it.
Just a little shout out as well. The comment that's up, that's Lee. It's one of our admin who's in our council chat. I think you've both spoken to Lee before. But Lee's not been too clever as of late because he's been suffering with really bad tinnitus. So I'm hoping you're feeling better, Lee, and I'm hoping you're back with Children Matter again soon. We miss you.
We do, mate. We do. We've still not had that chat as well. I really wanted to have a good chat with him about the Templars and all that kind of stuff.
We'll get it sorted out, definitely. I might even be able to get Mark on as well, who's also part of the Knights of Templar, who works well with Lee. So it might be worth either me or Lee having a chat with Mark and seeing if he wants to come on and have a chat about the Knights of Templar with you.
You know, Sharon, what have you most learned from being a parent? I guess that's probably the easiest way of putting it. But from the journey itself, you know what I mean? As in, what is took out of you, as in what is put into you. You know what I mean? Where has it left you?
Observing children is the most fascinating thing for me. Like, I watch my grandchildren, my youngest one. I've never enjoyed watching somebody eat as much. You know what I mean? It just little things. It's just the absolute joy and discovering that you learn more from watching your children than you need to teach them, if you see what I mean. You teach by example, you show them, you don't tell them, because and it's the behavior is always an indication of how they're feeling inside, and the little ones have no filter. You don't know how to manage those big emotions. It's often seen as bad behavior, but once you understand it, it's like, so that the whole parenting thing got me reading all of this stuff about child psychology, because I was really struggling as a parent to begin with. I was shit. I mean, I had all my own parent stuff to deal with. And so once I dealt with that and then read all the stuff in child psychology and all the attachment stuff, behavioural stuff, that led me into the job that I had, which I did for 15 years. So that whole journey from becoming a parent pretty much saved my life, and then it put me on a track, and then it's kind of got me to where I am now. And so the bottom line for everything I do is about the best chance for the kids you can give them, you know what I mean? And understanding love was a very difficult thing for me when I was young, because it was my family were quite cold at times. So
I had that. So
I learned to love through my kids.
Sorry, I agree with you, because same sort of thing with me, where love's conditional, where love's unconditional in reality.
Yeah, well, I mean, and there's a bit about conditional love in my pack. It's very informative stuff. It's all research stuff, you know what I mean? So it's so the biggest lesson for me being a parent is to listen more than with them, watch them, observe them.
You make a good point about observing. With kids, this is where two things are happening at once, isn't it? The development of the individual, the parent, and the kid that's obviously, developing anyway, but like you say, an interpretation through behaviour. You could, they kind of gives you a window into the mindset. But if you're a family member now that is more traumatized than ever before because of the past few years, if financially things are getting tighter because things are costing you money, you might have even lost your job, all that kind of stuff is hanging on you. We know what it's like as a parent. You don't want to kind of bring the whole house down, but it's weight on your mind, and you're not in the best position. With the behaviour side of it, I guess, and I've done it, I'm not going to put anything out there, that you can not notice them signs. So what I guess what I'm trying to say is you have to do two things at once in a sense. At the same time as you're looking at them signs, like you said, and it makes total sense, you'd also kind of got to work on yourself to be in a position where you're interpreting it, where you can see it with clarity. Because
and often when you've had some trauma, Phil, and you have children and your child gets to the age that you were at when you experienced the trauma, it brings it back.
right.
So you then have to deal with, say something happens when you're 6 and your child gets to 6, these memories come back to you. The focus returns to that. And I think that probably spurred me on to sort myself out, because I realised I wasn't dealing with things. And I had to forgive a lot of things and forgive certain people for me to move on. And I think that's a very hard thing for people to even consider. But when you realise you're doing it for the good of yourself, then it's easier to do it. And so because I've been through I've been homeless, I've been a single parent, I've been lost my job, I've had to sofa surf with 2 kids before. I've been through a lot of stuff. So I'm not daunted by any problem anybody comes to me with, because it's their problem to work out. Somebody just if somebody can facilitate that process with them, people figure out their own problem. They've all got the solutions. They just need somebody to work it through with them sometimes. And I think giving somebody that opportunity can, like when I used to visit families at home, I'm in their environment, I'm aware of that. I'm not in there to tell them how to run their family, because that's their business. I'm there to say what you're struggling with, what works, what doesn't work. Tell me a little bit about your children. What are the characters? Because they'll all be different. That sort of thing. And you identify for them what's important to them. And this is why in that pack there's a bit about family values. Everybody's different. Everybody's entitled to have the family that they want. And society dictates how people, bloody childline for a start. They're telling kids. My grandson said the other day they had to talk with them just recently about phoning childline if there's any problems at home with the parents.
We brought this up last time, and I put on this clip, didn't I, of the 3-year-old phoning the police for help with maths homework.
Yeah, I know, and
well, the way
I just think that
sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I say that the way I like to get it across to people when it comes to like understanding kids is, wenn ich Deutsch spreche, kann mich verstehen. So when I speak German, no one can understand me, and that's basically how you are with kids, because kids have to learn everything from walking to talking to absolutely everything. So we may know what we want and we may know what we're saying, but kids don't, and we kind of have to teach them. So when we get frustrated with them and then they end up getting frustrated, it's not because, it's dropped. It's not because either of us don't want to get it. It's just because there's a communication barrier there. It's like, I've been helping a couple of people with dog training lately, and I've been saying to them, the one language that is universal to absolutely everyone is body language. Same with animals, same with kids, same with everybody. It's body language. And as soon as you get to know that and you learn how to kind of work it and understand it, you're laughing.
Yeah, no, yeah. And
Double O's message here that he's just put in. I'm just going to put it up for you. Oh, I did make me smile.
My mum would have done as well. It's terrible that the way but it's a serious note though. I know so many parents that have turned up at the school and they to get the child, and the social workers are waiting for them because something's been said in school, and in a child's term. You know what I mean? I remember this this boy, mum was heavily pregnant, and it was stepdad, but he'd been around for quite a while, and the boy was only 5, I think. And they'd been wrestling. And so when he'd gone into school, he caught him in his privates. So when he said in school they were wrestling, he caught him in his privates. They phoned the social workers. So when mum turned up to school, and he had to move out while they investigated it, and you know, it's like, what does that feel like for the child to feel they're responsible for creating that as well? You know, that by saying something innocently and then it blowing up like that, it's terrible.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Sorry, I had to give Phil a little wave when he come back in.
I just got zapped out then. Two things were happening. There seems to be a bit of a problem with reception. It might have been caused, but I run out of power on my laptop. So when I was setting up, I forgot to plug it in. Then I left the lead there where my decks are. And then all of a sudden, all I wanted to do was press on a comment as you was talking. And I'm getting like the ring of death, but it's not death. It was just saying, that's not quite right here. And then it just went, ooh.
I mean, you can try working on this computer if you want. Since I moved everything into my office, the other end of the room, like the whole screen is jittery. Like it's not smooth. Everything's like going and stopping and going and stopping. So yeah, I mean, you can always try doing it from my end if you want.
No, I'm all right. I'm good. What have I missed anyway?
Me talking German.
Talking German.
No, you're still in it, I think. We were just saying about how children are encouraged to call childline on the parents and things, but there's nobody offering these parents some strategies to deal with the children, like to manage what they're not managing. It's like there's a big gap. So
yeah, it seems.
I really feel sorry. I really feel that you know these millennials or whatever they call them have suffered.
Well, it's a one-way thing, isn't it, Sharon? You know what I mean? Like, you can't bollock them now because they get too triggered and upset.
Oh, it's not just that. You can't ground your kid anymore because it's false imprisonment. You can't take any devices off your kids anymore because that's emotional neglect. You can't force them. You can't tell them to eat all the food on the plate and just make a normal meal. You have to tailor it to them because if you make a normal meal and they don't like it and you tell them they've got to eat it or they get nothing else, that's abuse and neglect, Phil.
And they do that deliberately so that the parents have no authority with the children. And so when they get to teenage and they naturally rebel, the parents have got no authority whatsoever. So
well, it does.
it's deliberate. It's deliberate to weaken and I do believe that that's why they change certain subjects in school, like how you're allowed to teach maths or work out a math problem. Is they changed it. A lot of parents didn't know how to help the children with math then because they changed the working out and they haven't been taught that way. And I do believe it's deliberate to break that. You know, the kids, oh, you're stupid, mum, you can't do math. And it's not. It's just they're not allowed to work it out in a certain way. But yeah.
Well, when I first moved in here, because obviously I speak German from living in Germany for 6 years. Across the road, her then teenage daughter was doing German in school, so I'd help her do her homework, and I'd kind of correct the questions in German so that the questions would actually make sense. The teachers told him to stop letting me help him with the homework because they didn't like the fact I was correcting their work first before helping her work out the actual answer.
Because they're right. They're the ultimate authority. And I think people are starting to see it more and more now, aren't they? That what we said, like you said before, Sharon, the establishments that we entrusted and you thought your school establishments, the way they've done it, everything's so backward and upheaval now that it is coming to the realisation that you have to work on yourself. You have to educate yourself even more so within the constraints of all this now, with that knowledge in mind, as in the red pill of it all. My kids are red pilled, and I didn't become red pilled till I was in my 30s because, well, not in my 30s. Yeah, no. In certain aspects, so I've probably been from 18, was looking at ancient civilizations, UFOs, and I knew all that forbidden archaeology and all that kind of stuff. So I knew there was questions fundamentally early on. But my kids are clued up now in terms of critiquing government and schools and the contradictory behaviour from organisations like their own school.
The thing that I think I mentioned it before, my granddaughter, who was still 3 at the time. She's now 4, but she'd gone to a Montessori school for the first couple of years for nursery but when she was ready to go to the nursery at the school, so she was nearly 4 when she started. So the first few weeks she's there, and she says, that's the Ukraine flag. One of the neighbours had a Ukraine flag up on his flagpole, and she said, that's the Ukraine. And I says, how do you know? She said, we've been making them at school today. It's blue and yellow, and I was like, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds making Ukrainian flags. Oh, what else did they teach you? Well, they showed us on the TV, and I was like, right. I said, so what were you making the flags for then? She said, because there's some children and they're losing their homes. Oh, I was fuming. I was just like, wait a minute. I spent my time telling parents not to let the children watch the news if they were anxious. And my granddaughter, she was anxious about the wind a few months ago. So she gets anxious. And so the last thing you want to do is fill a little child's head, especially before the age of 7, when they've got no reasoning ability, with war-torn Ukraine and children losing their homes. I mean, why would you even want to do that, especially in a school?
Yeah.
3 hours. She's only there for 3 hours.
Wow. Hammering it in.
Know.
Like you say, from that now, I would normally have said before before we've kind of seen what we've seen, I would have said that's proactive in a way, because that learns a kid's geography. But that's not the reason why they're doing it. They're changing, they're imprinting a narrative within a young child. Same again, if I flip from a Ukrainian to an English person, girl, boy, black or white in this country that is now homeless, lost everything, through whatever reason, could be the most pitiful story. There's no incentive on imprinting that within children, nor should there be really, but in order to empower that individual that is now homeless. There's no flag.
2 years of her life, half of her life, people have been wearing masks. You've not been allowed out. She's not been allowed to mix with other kids. She's not, the parks have been taped up so you can't use them. This is the first half of her life, and then she goes into age 3 to 4, and now she's got to deal with bloody war-torn Ukraine. Kids losing their own. I'm sorry, but if you're an adult and you choose to look at that stuff, fine, but don't put it on the kids in a school setting. She should have been painting daffodils, not Ukrainian flags.
But it's a fundamental.
Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to shoot, unfortunately.
Well, you know what? I'm going to probably get going anyway, because my wife's come in and I've not even seen her yet. But yeah, it's the incremental changes, Sharon, that you mentioned within the school system. You mentioned within kind of mindsets, really. Where we should be steered, what we should be steered on going to. That has been more exposed over the past 3, 4, maybe 5 years than I can't even ever imagine a time where it's been done like that. The state of what you could say is liberalism, or virtue signalling through the school system, university, even in the workplace now. We always constantly talk about this like it's some kind of accident or it's some kind of social decline. There's much more of it that is purposeful than we know, but what we actually realise as well, when we're scratching our heads and we're going, I can't believe they're telling 3, 4, 5-year-olds about masturbation. I can't believe they're telling them about war-torn countries in order to make them think. But if you want to get to them early, you want to change their psyche, you want to get them to think like you, not to promote them to be individual. That is exactly what you would do. So it's a question of why moan about it when we know the actual end game? We know what they're trying to do. Just reprogram your children. away from
That's
the
it, and that's all you can do, Phil, isn't it? Because to keep them from knocking down your door, you just got to play the game a little bit, but make sure you really educate your children. Oh, sorry.
Hey up, she's just suck herself out.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
It's because somebody tried to ring me on WhatsApp and that it cut me off.
Right. Right.
So yeah, it is. I wouldn't personally send my kids to an education setting right now. I wouldn't sign them up for a school at all. I know they've got to learn read and write and stuff, but there's so many different programs out there that you could put them onto that, without the brainwashing, without them killing the creativity, without them filling their heads with fear so that they just have to pass a memory test that's not going to serve them any purpose whatsoever when they leave school, because it'll change the qualifications again, and then they won't be worth the paper they're written on, like they've done right throughout time. We can see it now as we get older. We see what they do with each bloody cycle, don't they? They just keep repeating it, and each time it's getting worse. It's getting worse for the mental health of the nation, and that's what's suffering the most, because they're not teaching them to look inside. They're teaching them to get the answers outside, and they won't find them there. They have to find them in here, and they have to be taught how to look for them and how to focus and how to breathe properly through the stress and not be filled with fear. So you know that. But there's a lot of damage, definitely a lot of damage being done, and we'll just have to work through it.
No, I mean, you're right. You're right. It's tools, and that's the acknowledgement. This is not dowdy. This is like common sense. You know, we can all come on here. There's someone I know that has come on. No, I'm not going to say anything. No, I'm not going to say anything. The frivolous nature of online platforms, that's pretty much what I want to say. That's how they want it. That's what people are drawn to. And you can see a society that is drawn to that. It tells a hell of a lot about that said society.
I've had that experience lately as well.
Just, you know, I'm seeing people doing strange things when you can see the elephant in the room, and I get we all want to have a bit of a breather, but it's like, no, a platform it's not my core being. There's ways of reaching out, there's ways of doing what you're doing, but you do what you do. You don't reframe your whole sense of being on a platform that has done nothing but harm to you in order just to be on that platform. Now, that's all pretty much I can say, but yeah, so there's nothing wrong with actually going down these avenues, because we're all going through it, and it's coming out the other side, trying to still see it, trying to still want to send a positive message out, and being that energy to children, mothers, fathers, single parents, whether they be male or female, people who ultimately here now have gone through what they've gone through, and they will be, as intelligent as they are, there will be an element of confusion and concern moving forward. As long as you can accept that, that is half the battle to actually winning moving forward. You're thinking everything's fucking all right, and boom, 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 let's take, like you say, without looking into yourself, without knowing yourself, knowing what people around you are going through, and kind of acknowledging and helping each other, you're going to find it hard later on down the line. So, probably rambling, but yeah, I just love this community for being here and doing that. I love the light and the positivity you're sending out, and the journey, the ups and downs, and Katie, what she's doing. You know, and I guess we'll be back on moaning again next week, but then mingling it in with another a raffle. You know what I mean? But I love it.
Yeah, well, you know, as long as we start good and have the bit in the middle and then finish good, it's all right, isn't it? Everyone's all right with that.
So what have you got planned tomorrow? Anything positive?
I'm going to meet my sister. It's a day off, so we're going to go out for some lunch. So
nice. Nice. Well, you bid your sister all the best wishes from me. Yeah.
I will do. And you have a great.
What was that, Sharon?
I was just going to say, and you have a great week ahead, and
I'm preparing.
Be blessed.
Well, yeah, it's blessed anyway. Got a new job, new friends at work, and I'm enjoying their company, getting to know them a little bit. Moving away from all this, I'm enjoying me riding, getting fitter. I have got to work out now what's going to happen with this ride, Sharon. That's what's really thrown me, because like I say, I had the bloody GoFundMe all set up pretty much about a couple of button pressing, but I'm going to have to...
I mean, if you're looking for somewhere to do it too, I mean, there's always those plans that we have.
Yeah, but nothing's established yet. Okay, I need something tangible there to go right. You know what I mean? But I hear what
is he going to set up an account then? You know, can he set up an account under a name and have two, so that two people have to sign for it, and they can just put any monies in there till they know where they're going to direct it?
Like a community.
That would probably, that would probably be the best solution for the time being, because obviously he's had the stuffing knocked out of his sails, wind knocked out. Well, I'm getting all confused with my little sayings now, but yeah, he needs to set up an account, doesn't he, so that any donations can go into that account, and then people just need to understand that money will be directed towards the right uses, and it's all be transparent. It's in the account. No, as long as you've got a statement of the account and there's no withdrawals, or if there is, you've got an account of where it went, and there's no problem. It's I would do that. I would set up an account under whatever name he needs to use, that identifies it as the victims fund. Yeah.
I know it's a hard one, isn't it? It's a hard one. That's how I feel now. Never mind how Ian feels. I've everything sorted. All I needed was a tangible link to be able to go. I remember I was saying to you, I don't want to talk about soon because I haven't got... I've got everything booked, but no calls to do it for. I'm like, what the... You know? And I'm like, there's got to be something here. Whether I might just shift over to mental health, because I need a bona fide something to actually put a GoFundMe out for. I can't just do it for something in the future or an idea, because, there's nothing actually been thrashed out.
What about something to do with your homeless? Set up a homeless project for you. I don't know, just buy some sleeping bags with it, or, you can always show receipts for them, can't you?
Oh, certainly, yeah. Certainly.
I'm sorry, guys, but I really am going to have to jump now. So I'm going to leave you.
Anyway.
It's food for thought, but camping stoves or sleeping bags or anything for the homeless that the homeless can use from the camping stores, that I would say that would be beneficial.
Well, I've actually... One last thing. Is it this? I'm sorry. I'll just mention this and I'll get going. Share screen. I don't need that right.
Keith said he was listening to. It must have been the show we did with Ian before,
yes.
And I don't know if it just been put back on or what, but he only come across it. He said he's lazy. He puts his videos on and lays in bed and is falling asleep. He says he could hear you chatting away. Then all of a sudden I come in. He said, what do you think? He said, I thought you was in my bloody room. He said, you shouted that much. I said, I do. I shout at my phone. Can't help it.
Well, it's probably when I give you the good news, wasn't it? You know what I mean?
Oh no, this was another show. You know, the one we did before the demo. He's only just come across it, but he said I'd popped up. He said, like your voice, nice, soothing, calming voice, and then all of a sudden Binks pops in with rah rah rah.
I've been here.
North Yorkshire.
Well, you must have been on a vibe that day. That's all I can say to that. I've put in the wrong one. That's actually the place that Ian was about to give the
Right.
check. And I was going to pull it up, start talking about it. There's one in Manchester, is it on here? Yes, this is it. Right. All I've got on here is the Facebook group, I do believe. I've joined the group and I've put the question out there.
Do you know what I think half of these charities are for?
Yeah.
It's like finding a home for an old sheepdog. Honestly, these ex-social workers. I looked into volunteering before. I couldn't find it years ago. I just looked in the paper. There was opportunities to volunteer, loads of charities or whatever. The only volunteering I could find, you had to be an ex-social worker.
Right.
And you got paid for it. You got paid for it. And I was like, how is that volunteering? So I think half of these charities are just another like grazing land for ex-social workers to have something to move on to when they've.
This is it. This is where something that is supposed to have, well, it's not supposed to be biased in any way because you're dealing with someone who needs money wherever they can get it, however they can get it. So you don't have a bias, you know? So my main fear is this group here, Don't Walk Past group. From what I can see, they're doing nothing but brilliant work, Sharon. You know, they're going out, Viz vests on, they're getting food from various establishments donated to them, and they're distributing it out. They've got different groups for different days of the week. They cover, from what I can see, the Manchester and Salford area. Absolutely fantastic. I just don't want to be able to approach these now and then they go, well, I don't know, you know? But then when you say something like sleeping bags, I just need to plan it. I need to go back and redo the drawing board a little bit because it has to be thought out on how, because I can't say to anyone, put money in when I don't quite know exactly how it's going to go down yet. You know what I mean?
Why don't you? Well, one suggestion I suppose you could do is, I mean, even roll mats. You know, the yoga mats, whatever. If you went to an outdoor store and said, how much would it be for 100 sleeping bags? Would I get a discount if I ordered 100 sleeping bags? They would give you a price. You'd probably get a discount if you said you were handing them out to the homeless. You would then know what your target is and how much, right, if I earn this much, I'll get 50 sleep bags. If I get this much, I'll get 100 sleeping, you know, just, I don't know, get some figures in that.
Yeah. Or whatever is most needed.
Yeah. I mean, that's just an example, like, but.
You're totally right. You're making me think on different levels here. I was just, in a way, doing the easy thing. Here's some money, there's a charity. You know, that is easy. And that's what people want, in a sense. You know, well, give us a link and I'll put some money down. So, like I say, it's frustrating that I had that. And now it's to where it
I would rather give some money to somebody that said they was collecting to buy sleeping bags for the homeless than I would if they said they were from shelter.
Yeah.
Because I know from shelter, they're paying for all them staff, all them promoters. If you said to me, you're buying sleeping bags, I know that that's buying sleeping bags. I know that you're not going to take 50% of it or 75% of it and then get what you can with what's left. Do you know what I mean? So I'm more likely to give you the money than I would an organised charity. Yeah. And I think a lot of people would think along those lines as well because you're a stand-up guy. Do you know what I mean? People know you are.
Well, the sleeping bag's brilliant. I don't know whether that is the best idea or not. I don't know. But I know that's a certain starting point. So with that in mind, that it is just questioning what would be the best fit. If you're going to do something like that, what would they most need and who would you give it to? Would you give it to them direct? Would you give it to an organisation direct? What is the actual plan there? So,
is there a soup kitchen there? Is there like is there a soup kitchen for the homeless?
This organisation here is got an address in Salford, but they work from vehicles, their own vehicles, I guess, from what they're doing. So I need to see what they're saying with when I put this comment out, if they reply, and that'll give me a sense of whether I'm actually going to donate anything to them. Because if I get a hint that they're going to do to me what Corner House did to Ian, then I don't want to give it to them for them to then go, well, actually, I don't want it. You know, I want to kind of establish where to stand with these guys now before I try to do anything with them.
What I was thinking, because Keith used to work at the soup kitchen, and you get a lot of people going down there, homeless people going down there, and it's maybe if you kind of found out where the local soup kitchen was and what day it was on, or if it might be on every day, I don't know. Find out when it's on and go chat to a few of the people that's queuing up for the meals. You know, are you homeless? What if I could help you in any way, what would that look like? And ask them, you know, they might say, well, I could do with a sleeping bag, or they might say I could do with a pot for my cup of tea, or do you know what I mean? You just don't know, do you, till you ask them. But it's just a starting point, really. But yeah, meditate on it, Phil. You'll work it out.
I will, because I did before, and it's just the redirection and the disappointment. Yeah, heart goes out to Ian and the rest of the people that done what they've done there in Hull. I'm still going up there, so it's not going to change anything. So it's fine. It's just a sucker punch. But you know what? Thanks for doing that bit of advice, because that is going to be helpful. It'll certainly give me something to sleep on, and I'll keep you posted on developments anyway. You know what I mean? But Sharon, as your words of wisdom are always taken. Thank you very much. You have a blessed evening and the rest of your week. And are you going to come back on next Sunday with us?
Sunday. What? I'm at a christening on Sunday.
Right.
And so it'll depend how long I'm there, I guess.
No problem. If anything, we'll catch up on the next.
Oh no,
one.
this Sunday.
This Sunday, because we're behind now. This should have been done on Sunday.
But it's bank holiday. It's bank holiday. I think I'm camping out.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
Well, my daughter's got a caravan, so they're gonna look for a campsite. So I'll take the tent and I'll pitch my tent next to the caravan.
Boom! Get on it. Well, don't worry about little old us here. You get out there. Seriously.
Well, if I've got a signal, I might join you from the campsite.
That'd be cool. Round the campfire, get a bit of fire going.
Might be in caravan though.
Don't blame you. You have a great night anyway. Thanks a lot.
You too, mate. You take care. Look to your family. Bye-bye.
See you now. Yes. Right. Get rid of this. Right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Man, there's something that makes me feel that I've been punched for Ian and for the plans that I had running just at the side of Ian, but underneath, nowhere near as important what he was doing. So yeah, I'm probably going on about it too much, but it's pissed me off a little bit, but it's not going to stop me. Thanks to Sharon, thanks to Katie, and thanks to Ian. I hope the meeting went well, and I hope they come up with something proactive to do with that money. Will be food for thought. Don't let anything like this discourage you from trying to do the right thing by people. Look how this could make it quite easily go, well, fuck the lot of yous then. You try and do right by people. Tell you what, I'll just go home and watch Netflix. You know what I mean? And you think, what? So don't let them do that to you. Although, it may have that effect. Please remember the people away from this that would actually try to help. So as much as Corner House have gone on fuckeries there, it's actually survivors, not them. Well, they just want to be all poncy about where the money's coming from. Just stick to your guns. And if you have to recalibrate, like Sharon has given me some good advice there, keeping things going. Don't let your head go down because of what you've done. Redirect what you're doing. And remember that, you know what, this will be more organic than going through them third parties that anyway are probably getting big wages and whatever else. So it's what it is. So listen, guys, thank you very much for being on here tonight. Same again. Apologies for the delay, but it was out of our control. Hopefully, we will be back. I say Sunday, but it's bank holiday. I don't mind coming back on Sunday for an hour. Sunday's probably my better day, if I'm going to be honest with you. So unless something categorically bad happens, I would have thought I'll be back in. Should have thought Katie will be on here as well. So yes, guys, you have a blessed evening. Hope all this stream has done you well. Take care, and I shall see you on the next time. Even the pissing haters. Love y'all.
I love you. 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 I love you.
Even the pissing haters.
I love you. 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 I love you.